All right, I'd like to call the meeting of the Capital Planning Committee to order at 4:06 PM on Wednesday, February 16th. Could I have a roll call, please?
Geraldine Bezikas.
And Chris Nosella.
And Veronica Taft present. All right, so our
Can I throw something out there real quick?
public comment, go right ahead.
Do we even need officers? Because we only got one more week.
No, I wasn't going to do
Oh,
all
okay,
this.
yeah,
We could use someone to take minutes.
No.
I think it's you, Chris.
I think you're crazy. That is never gonna happen. You probably write, you were a school teacher. You can write way better than I can. Now, if you need stuff hit with a hammer, I'm your guy.
All right, so so unless one of you would like officers, the agendas are all posted, and our job is to review the plans and recommend to the Board of Selectmen by March 1st. So wherever we are March 1st, Ross, does the Board of Selectmen then take it over for the final recommendations to the annual town meeting?
I think that's correct, and the Finance Committee will weigh in along the way.
Correct. All right, so Ross, you want to go over what you just gave us?
Well, the typed sheet is from the police chief. It was some response to my question about document scanning. But he's basically saying he's looking for 2 police cars, and those are in his operating budget, so it's not a capital item.
Right.
And that explains the $70,000 new equipment line item that was in his
Right.
operating budget. And I think that makes sense if he's buying 2 cars each year. It's sort of an ongoing thing.
It's not a lease to buy, it's strictly a lease.
It's a lease.
Right.
I thought he did 3 cars.
He did, I thought it
Well,
was, maybe it's every third year we get,
I think every once in a while you'll get a additional car thrown in there, but if the normal cycle is
How many cars do we own?
fair question, I would have to find that answer. for
Yeah,
you.
I'm just curious.
Okay,
If
so
we
the-
own 5, then that
I'm
makes
reading
sense.
the first sentence here.
okay,
The department is working on a 3-year capital lease to purchase agreement for 4 vehicles in FY '22. The first payment will be made upon delivery, which we expect to be at the end of the fiscal year. So that means the
Wow.
end of FY '22, which is now coming up. This payment is to be made out of the department's operating budget, and we respectfully request that the remaining payments, estimated to be $70,000 annually, are funded the same way. The leasing program has stabilized the costs associated with acquiring and outfitting new vehicles as well as maintaining the fleet. The department has stayed under budget in the vehicle maintenance line, actually seeing a decrease in expenditures in the line over the life of the first round of 3-year leases. Anticipation of increased cost of vehicles due to a switchover in the industry to hybrid models. The project's cost of leases in the later years of the plan are estimated to be $80,000. So that means if we're looking at this, correct? There, it should be, well, I'm going to put it on there, right? Because it's in his, oh yeah, it is. It's in his operating budget.
It's his operating budget under new equipment, so it's not a capital item.
We don't even
Per
have
se.
that on the main sheet as far as police go.
No, because
Well, I'm just, usually, what we've done is we've gotten all of them. Like, everyone who wanted something, and we could look at it. We have highway facilities and water on this budget.
yes, and the second sheet is police. The bottom, because
Oh, this bottom end is
Oh.
police, I apologize.
those
Yeah.
numbers came into me,
Yeah,
so I saw
okay.
them last,
Oh,
so.
Okay, I didn't see that, I
Didn't
apologize. I thought that was carried down from that.
so
Okay.
it does say lease to purchase. I don't remember purchase, but I
like
always thought it
this.
was lease.
That's what I thought too. And that the leases just kept rolling.
Just, yeah, I'm
That
sure
was
that's what
I
it was.
understood from last time. I'm looking all through my stuff here and I. easily.
So my,
Because that
con-
had to go back at least 2 to 3 years, Veronica.
my concern with what we've done in the past is the
Right,
lease
we
is
rated them,
fine, but you know, you're leasing a purchase, you're stuck with these vehicles that are falling apart, you're gonna get nothing for.
That's right, we just keep leasing them.
We just keep leasing them and then turn them in when they're done. We don't purchase them,
No, we don't.
you know, that doesn't make any sense for a vehicle that's gonna put, you know, 200,000 miles in 2 years on it.
So maybe we should get Ross ask Jay to clarify,
Yeah.
or
I
he
would-
says lease to purchase.
That's-
Do we have a car that is owned by the town at this point?
A police car, I would have no idea.
I think some of the older, theoretically, the older ones after the third year, we would own. In fact, we had one that would have been in that situation. That's the one that got wrecked 2 months ago.
Of course it did.
Well, the good
Well,
news
it
is it was
happens,
one that
yeah.
was about to be
Mm.
replaced
Right.
versus a brand new one.
Mm.
So then I guess he would trade in the old ones when it's time,
Towards the new
towards a new lease.
lease.
Yeah.
So, but is that considered a lease purchase, or is that wording correct, is what I'm asking?
Yeah,
Well, I believe he says it was a lease purchase.
All right,
And to me, that's a financing method, which is
Hmm.
somewhat secondary to whether he, or not,
right,
you want them to have a new cruiser or not.
right.
And I personally think that police cruisers are first line response. They need to be ready to run at the moment's notice. It's not like
Right.
your secondary
Well,
personal
that's what I'm
car.
saying. Are we better off just to lease or to lease to purchase?
Well-
I'm looking here at Gerald of what he turned in on December 1st, 2019, and it says lease to purchase.
It does, okay.
now who's maintaining our fleet? I mean, they used to use the guy up in Brookline that passed away,
Oh, Peter.
Peter, yeah. So
Right.
who's maintaining the fleet now?
I have no idea.
That's another concern. If we're buying them after a lease, who's maintaining?
I don't know.
Well, someone's gonna have to be doing regular oil changes, and tire changes
Hmm.
anyway.
Well, the guy we used to use passed away.
So who is,
Who's doing it now,
I will find out for you.
please?
Wow, this is a big difference in just a couple of years. Here it says in anticipation of increased costs in vehicles due to a switchover in the industry to hybrid, we ask that the figure in the capital plan beginning FY 22 be amended to 65,000.
now it's,
Now it's 80,000.
Wow.
70,000 for FY 23,
Hmm.
but 80,000 for FY for the years after. But
Well, basically, when he says estimated to be 70,000 are funded the same way, which is coming out of his budget.
that's right.
they don't
Um,
know.
It's in his budget.
So,
So it's not really a capital.
No,
no, it's not a capital
well,
item.
that's in his,
But we always did include it on the capital plan.
But the way we wrote it up was it came out of, and I think
Yes.
So we-
it came out of his budget,
That's correct.
not actually out of
I
capital
think
money.
we looked at it, but it came out of his budget.
Yeah, I think we did that a lot with the fire department and
Yeah.
whoever.
Cemetery parts, there
Yeah.
and stuff that came out of,
Yeah.
whatever. thing.
And we did give them, some, trucks or equipment.
Did they have submitted anything? No, cemetery tax or
Is that-
Oh,
Pardon me?
cemetery
Nothing?
parks?
I haven't seen anything from them.
All we have is
highway
Concom, whatever that is.
Conservation Commission.
conservation?
Oh, wow, I have to apply for stuff then. But I don't know why.
Well, what they've asked for is $1,050, which
Yeah,
could be
it's
a
absolutely,
operating budget issue
Right,
if they wanted to. Frankly, I might keep it. I decided I would keep it in capital because I would fund it from free cash. And we have a little bit more latitude there than we do in the overall budget. The overall budget is going to be difficult this year.
you know how I feel about free cash.
How do you feel about it?
It's something that we do not just give away. that much, we need to actually hang on to it in case something drastic happens that we need money real quick.
And what's the amount that you have to hang on to?
I don't know, how much do we have?
No, the question is, how much is the amount that you need to
It
hang
would be a
on to?
percentage of what we have. I don't know what we have. Do we have a
Well,
dollar
wouldn't it be a
or?
percentage of no matter what we have?
Well, no,
Isn't there a dollar amount?
I would have a dollar amount for you, and I could tell you right now, if you tell me what you had, if we have 100,000, I'd say we need to keep at least 50. If it's 300,000, keep 150. I don't see
So
a need
half,
to,
you're saying,
well, it depends. I mean, if we have $10,000, I don't want to spend it.
So can I weigh
Yeah,
weigh
please.
in on free cash?
Yes,
If I may?
absolutely.
Free cash is something that you as a taxpayer paid for last year.
Yes, I know how it works.
And my feeling is you paid for it, let's put it to work.
Mhm.
With that said, for a town the size of Townsend,
Mhm.
I would aim to keep $200,000 in free cash.
Could you tell me how much we have?
I can,
Please do.
900,000.
Okay,
And that was after the December special town meeting where we spent 160,000. So we've got
okay.
900,000 left. I would keep 200,000 because something comes up and you need to have a special town meeting.
Mhm.
You've got something to pay for it with without having to raise an appropriate, and which sometimes you can or can't do depending upon
Yeah.
what time of the year.
Okay,
So I keep 200,000. When I see all the numbers, I will put some money into stabilization because that's your long-term savings account.
mhm.
And that's what you keep to me for your rainy day
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
surprise expenditures.
Mhm.
I would purchase some of the smaller items on here from free cash, like the $240,000 dump truck. I
Mhm.
wouldn't take that necessarily from free cash.
Right.
I might take it from stabilization. I might take it from
Do
borrowing.
we still have 200,000 in capital or money or?
We have, it was 146?
I
Oh, we're
believe,
down to
I
146.
believe it's
now, huh?
100,000 plus. I'm trying to get that number
I think
verified.
it's 146. Well, I don't know. Close.
Okay. Like they said, back in the day it was 500 and then we were 200 a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I would, I think it's 107, but I need to get that verified. So, but I think that free cash you paid for, we should put it to work versus keeping that as a,
Should we be
Savings account.
considering fixing some of our roads?
What?
yeah, oh, yes, yes.
I mean, I haven't looked at that.
But we were
Highway?
supposed to be putting in X number of dollars for the roads, right?
every year,
Yeah.
Every year, we were supposed to put 250,000 if we had it.
Right.
Was it
it
250,000?
was ultimately 250,000 from free cash. I'll pull up that bylaw.
Yeah.
Right,
And then another 250 from excise tax.
okay,
Yeah.
So there is a line item on the highway department for road maintenance and paving.
Well, road
Yeah.
maintenance is, and I can tell you, and I hate to interrupt,
Yeah.
but what they do for road maintenance right now is they fill in potholes with coal patch, which is a temporary fill. It doesn't stay, the plow hits it, and takes it right
Well,
up.
this time of year, that's about their only option.
Well,
Come
come spring.
summer, and spring.
I understand, but
But that is their only option at this point, so what are they gonna do with it? What else are they gonna do? They can't put a brand new road in this time of year.
no, well, they could if they wanted to.
They
If
don't
the
have the
fact,
money.
well,
Well,
how do we get them the
and
money?
most of the pavement plants are, asphalt plants are
Right.
closed this time of year.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's the pavement management plan
yeah.
that was adopted by the town meeting
Yep.
in 2019, May
Yeah.
of 2019.
Was that the year that we were looking for the 5 million or was that?
That was the year that
That
we were
was
looking
the-
for the 5 million.
Yeah.
So this was the maintenance plan.
Right,
And so it was to be 250,000 from free cash. And this was the first year, 50,000 from local receipts, excise tax revenue. Until you got 250,000 per year from local receipts, adding 50,000 each year to. So it's chapter 89, Ross, of the bylaws. And that was for the the maintenance plan.
Right, that's not
Then
new
we
roads.
had
Yeah,
a capital pavement plan. It
right.
was to be funded at 5 million, was it?
It used to be,
Well,
but
it
I don't
was
think it ever
funded,
passed.
yes.
And,
They got- We lost it by 4 votes.
Yeah,
and it went to, town vote.
right.
And we lost by 4 votes.
Yeah.
I think a debt exclusion. And it failed.
It's a lot of money.
But we didn't
And
have to take it all at once.
No,
We could have taken it in as
It
we
was
needed.
over
Let's say if
5
we didn't
years.
have to, maybe we didn't have to spend that kind of money. So we'd only take what we need to spend at
Yeah.
that time.
so we fully funded it the first year. We put 250K from free cash
wow,
and 50,000 from excise in. And together with the Chapter 90 fund, I think he was able to do the first year of the pavement plan. But then
Yeah.
there was no money left for maintenance.
right.
That's right.
And we didn't continue to fund this at all.
Nothing.
No dollars have gone in since 2019.
Does he have, maintenance in his budget?
Well, he does. If you look at the plan that Ross just gave you.
Okay, hang on. I keep switching back and forth.
And I think anyway, that he has it in there under roadway paving at 200,000 for the next. He didn't put it in for this year though, did he?
No. It's for 24.
Oh, probably because he asked for the dump truck.
Oh,
And I bet that's why he didn't have 200,000 in that other year.
Yeah, which I put in, because I thought that was sort of the gist I was getting.
That
from you.
was the idea,
yeah.
but it looks like he thought, that's why that 1 year was missing. When you put it like this, now I can see it. Anyway, so that's where that is, the paving and maintenance plan. So he put it in the capital plan, so I think hoping that we would actually fund this, that we the town.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to go out to town meeting every year for that 200,000 by bylaw.
That's correct.
It can just be done if we have.
Well,
That's the
Yeah.
secret, that's the
I
secret.
We
don't
don't
know
even
that I
have
agree with
paving
that.
and maintenance in capital.
Well, maybe it has to be in the budget,
Yeah.
so I guess in that respect it gets voted.
Can I ask you
Only
a
if we
question?
have it.
Yes,
And the next part of this is for me to try to assign funding sources to each
Mhm.
item. I could, and that'll be easier if you've already crossed items off the list that you don't agree with, but I will try to come up with a funding source.
so can I have you move some more numbers? Because I think they're misplaced on this.
Could be.
Under the cat loader, not the highway again, the last item for highway before facilities. I think that 13,188 should be FY '23, the 31,063 in FY '24, and the 31,062 in FY '25, because we purchased that last year.
But it was $80,000, which was in last year's town meeting that I thought covered the first 2 years.
That is correct.
Mm.
And so the other 3 years, shouldn't they be in FY
They should
'23?
slide, they all
Yeah,
Yeah,
should
they
all
slide
just need
left.
to be
forward.
slided over. That's
Because
So is it-
this year's covered from last year's.
That is correct.
Okay.
We funded 2 payments last year because that was what we had planned to do in the capital plan we
Yep.
did the year before.
Right,
And that never got done because of the COVID restrictions and all the
yeah.
revenue loss.
The craziness, in
Yeah.
any event, yeah.
Oh,
So are
good,
these
'cause I was
figures, are
actually gonna
these
ask you
figures
guys
correct
about
then
that.
that are showing there now, or do they need to slide over?
I think the numbers are correct, but they need to slide over.
They need to slide
Okay.
backwards, right?
Yeah.
Yes. to the
Yeah,
left.
back to 23.
I mean,
24.
the real number is the FY '23 number
Hmm.
anyway. The rest is
Yeah.
all sort of
Yeah, back. to
speculation, but yes, I will move
23,
those 3 over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 1-ton dump truck with plow, we had, that was on his request, and it was something that we didn't move it. We had said, put it off to fall. We were gonna look at fall town meeting 2 years ago for that, and that never happened. So the F-550 4x4 1-ton dump truck with plow, I'm on with that.
Well, he's got that out until for FY '25.
Yeah, I think they're all over
I think,
25.
I think.
Wait,
she's looking at
no,
this
the
one.
one above that.
Yeah.
Oh,
A five-
I'm sorry, the $80,000 this year, yep.
Yes, I
A
think,
350 dump truck is a 1 ton. A 550 1 ton is huge. That's
Oh.
almost like
it's also.
a
what he
6-wheel
asked
dump
for.
truck. It's not really a 1 ton in my eyes.
Yeah, so maybe 1 ton's the wrong description.
Maybe that's the wrong description, Veronica, because
It's exactly the same description that was here.
54 by
That's-
4 or
that's-
something.
awful,
years
that's
ago
an
or 3
awful
years
big
ago.
piece of equipment for a 1 ton.
This was FY 21, so
Right.
2 fiscal years back.
Yeah.
And exact same description. And we had decided that we were going to wait on that and
Mhm.
reassess in the fall town meeting.
Yeah, which
Uh,
never got there.
Yes, which we never had. So in any event, it didn't get reassessed.
Yeah.
So I'm in for the 80K
For 23.
for 23.
Okay, so
Okay.
mine's over okay, all right.
Okay, now this 240K. Looking at his request from way back then.
It's a 6-wheel dump truck. Wait a minute. Let's get a sander on it. Plow. One is a plow, one is a sander, the other one doesn't. It's 6-wheel.
All right, the new 6-wheel dump truck with plow and sander was originally, there was only one of them. And it wasn't until FY 24 that he was requesting it.
So I've got
So
a
you know more
25.
about this, Ross?
I know he's sent me pictures of several trucks with a lot of rust in them. I know he had
No,
a
No,
request.
$240,000 for a 6-wheel
Yeah,
dump
he
truck.
had it for FY 22 as well. So he did have 2 on the list. He had one that was 205,000 in FY 22,
Hmm.
and then 210 in FY 24, and I'm sure it's going up.
I,
So my guess is it's needed. He wouldn't have asked for it if it wasn't.
I gotta be honest with you, before I would even consider any of these. Being a truck guy, I need to see pictures of what he's looking at because,
They might be in the book. You have your book?
I don't have a book. I was never given one. I'm thinking a 550 4x4 1-ton dump truck is a 6-wheel dump truck.
That's good.
So is, the one in the 550, it says 1-ton. Wow, this 6-wheel dump truck. What is he looking for is a new 6-wheel dump truck with a plow and sander for $240,000.
Well, everything has gone up.
Well, it's not that it's gone up. I
Yes,
buy
pictures.
trucks all the time. I know what they cost and the truck is, if he buys a strip model, I mean, I don't know that he needs, CD players
I
and
don't think it,
any of that stuff. If he just buys say he buys a Ford, an XL model, he still gets cloth seats, he still gets air conditioning, and he still gets power windows and locks. How much does a plow and a sander cost? That's something I need to know. I mean, you're talking about, he's looking for a 550 for 80,000.
well, let me ask you something. Is that sander removable or is that attached?
No, they take them out all the time. They take them out of all of them.
He
They're all
has some
removable.
very pretty pictures in the book.
I don't have a book though.
I think everybody has
Well,
that.
I never got a book.
I put together books.
I never got a book.
You didn't get a book?
I never got a book.
You're in finance.
I never saw a book like that.
No one ever
I
got
have
a
a
book.
book, I have a book. Well, maybe they are in the back of the book. I haven't gone that far,
Yeah.
maybe.
I just,
I do have
If
that
you
book.
have this book.
I
you've
do have
got it,
that
And he
book.
has pretty pictures.
Yeah.
under
Okay,
that
I guess I
highlight.
didn't look at
I
the
wish you
pictures.
look at these, you gotta get back to me.
oh no, I'll look at them right here. I just need to,
I would have brought
I
it
need
in.
to
if I
see
had
what
it.
he's talking about. A 351 ton dump truck, I know what that is. That's a 1-ton dump truck.
Well, everything is expensive.
I mean, he's showing me pictures of asphalt. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Oh, no, because he's asking for,
Frames,
no, he's
These-
asking for a hot box.
Well, yeah, hot spots they already own, but,
Oh, you're looking for another one.
so he, I wanna see what he wants, these are what we have. I wanna see what he wants to buy. You know what I'm saying? It's. Now, if he's looking for like this big truck is a six-wheeler, yeah, I could see that with, with the plow and the sander being 250. But it's a vague description of a six-wheel vehicle.
Well, Chris, I will tell you
Yeah.
that, looking at the highway budget, the only things that are on here that are different from what he requested
Yeah.
2 years ago
Yeah,
is the 10-foot plow out in 2026.
It's the what, I think.
All right, so that's not for this year. The asphalt hut box wasn't on the list, that's new. And beyond that, although the prices have changed a little bit, like the
Yeah.
rebuilding the motor and new transmission, he had that as 40,000 for
Yeah.
FY '23. He
Mhm.
now has it as 50,000 for FY
Makes sense.
'24.
Yeah.
So, but everything else on here is consistent with what he was asking. So I don't think he heard how much free cash we had and went wild trying to buy
I don't think-
fancy things. I think that these are exactly what he needs.
Well, and he also is willing to have any and all of you come down and get a tour of the highway department and specifically his equipment.
Hmm.
Because that might be an easier way to see what he wants, why he needs to get rid of something. And I'll talk to him about getting spec sheets on the new items so you can determine whether he's buying something Cadillac or buying the basic version.
Right.
Yeah. I don't really feel we need to. This is very vague. I mean, a new six-wheel dump truck, with a plow and sander. How big? I mean, I don't know.
Okay, well, I
Usually,
Are you
usually
looking for a model, is that what you're
a
saying?
model number or something,
Model
but
number.
Veronica, we've always had people come in and talk to us and explore,
I know, and we would have loved to do
Yeah.
that, but this is our first meeting.
Yeah,
And where we
and-
had a forum.
Yeah.
And I envisioned a different, we're
yeah,
up against the deadline. here.
yeah, I know, that's the hard part.
And so, this is what we have. And so my thought is, if we look at what was requested in the past and what's requested now, and then we figure out what we can afford and what we can't. So
Mm.
there's those ranking sheets and, we could go through
Yeah.
and rank stuff. And Jimmy at least did provide all the information that we need to do the ranking that's required by the,
Yeah,
the policy
Mm.
for capital. If
Is-
we want to do that, but I am perfectly okay
yeah,
with saying what he's got here is good. I would only want 200,000 more for paving, but I don't think we have it. But I guess what I want to know is how important is the dump truck with plow and sander, that 250 versus 200? Should we switch those years? Like how bad are the roads? Could we do 200 this year, 240 next year for the plow? But I know that he wanted a plow. And what year did he want it in?
I think I know Chris's answer to this, but the finance committee is scheduling
2022.
a Saturday, the 26th.
I'm out.
To bring in the key departments, highway being one of them, and I envision that. And that was Andrew's call to say how that meeting's gonna go today, is a chance for the boards to ask questions.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily to have the department stand up and make a 15-minute presentation. It's you folks to ask questions like you are today.
yeah.
And-
Well, I trust the finance committee to do the right thing. They always have, so,
Oh, they're trying.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but just to sit here and not know exactly what I'm buying
Well, I think
bothers me.
there's two pieces to the equation. One is what's being replaced and how bad is it?
Hmm.
And the other is what is he
Yeah.
buying and what are the features of it?
Yeah.
I don't think he's the type of guy that would say, I want
Yeah.
extreme stuff, and he really isn't.
No, he's a good kid. And I think
I
no
don't, I
problem.
can't see him looking for,
I wasn't suggesting that he was.
no, I know it.
But I think that's what I think Chris is asking is what type of truck you get.
What model?
You can probably get a 1-ton dump truck for any price you want to mention. The question is, will it do the job you have in mind for it?
Yeah,
Right.
and I think that with a 1-ton dump truck, you can put a pretty good size loader on, sander on. But the one he showed there is a highway grade, which, and that's the one you're gonna put the wing blade on and all that stuff. That, if he needs one, that's very important to the town. Really is, but like I said, the description I have here tells me nothing.
Too vague.
I didn't get the book, so I didn't get to look.
He said that
Yeah.
what he is replacing
Yeah.
is 21 years old, it's a
Yeah.
350. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm not trying to be difficult, Veronica,
I mean, he's had some really
he's got a lot of old
old
crap.
stuff, there's
I
no
mean,
doubt in my
that
mind.
loader, Jesus Christ, that needed to be changed many years ago. All right, so I'm gonna say that we trust what he's doing, that I have no problem with what he needs. Now, where do we find the funding for it?
that's
We have to
it
pick what we gotta do, right?
Right.
Well, I will try to have some suggestions.
Hmm.
soon.
Yeah. Do we know what his budget is and how much of this he can actually pay himself, or?
His budget is high, and I will say he can't pay for it himself because the overall budget is
Right.
high.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm envisioning having to make painful cuts to get it back to something
Reasonable.
that we can even legally do, but something that the taxpayers can afford.
Right,
So I'd rather see items show up as a capital request
Mhm.
than buried into an operating budget.
okay,
And I might use that same comment for the police cruisers, actually.
Hmm.
So taking 70,000 out of the police budget, put it into capital
Hmm.
might make sense.
So how do we go about looking at his 23 requests? I mean, he's looking for, it doesn't come out to, a straight number, but we
Well,
could add together.
he's looking for $377,400
Right,
for FY '23.
hmm. Which we don't really have.
How much is the total,
Well,
say it
we
again?
don't know that
Second
yet.
page of your sheet.
Oh, when do we find out?
The total
I got
capital request is
Hmm.
$895,000 for FY '23 before anybody's cutting anybody back.
Right,
We've got 900,000 plus in free cash. I'm not saying we use it all that way,
Right.
but
Yeah, we got other
But
departments.
I can right now save you 220,000 off of that because you've included water in here, Ross, and the 120,000 well house generator and the 100,000 cross street well house generator
Mhm.
comes from ARPA fund.
Yep.
And that's 220,000 right there.
okay, so that will help us from the funding, and that I will have, like I said, I'll have a sheet that explains the funding. I think that's another tab that's not printed here, so we haven't done that. But I think it still has to show up as a capital request and a warrant
I think
article.
that's okay,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, I do think that's okay. But as far as looking at that number and Chris saying, oh, well, we use up all our free cash there, boom, done, the end. It's not exactly that way. He didn't, Jay Sotel didn't put in, like, if you look at police, it only says 35. That's what you were saying, Ross, right? Include the 70,000 for the police cars,
The police cars are in his budget,
yeah,
right?
operating budget.
the 35 are
thinking
for scanning.
They should be reflected in the capital plan, correct? Even though it comes from operating budget, is that true?
Yeah,
No,
They
I don't
were
think-
prior.
I don't think it needs to be,
Vehicle
but I'm actually thinking I would fund it through a capital process versus a operating budget,
lease. You could do that.
because I might have more flexibility.
So it says here, this is again the FY 20 to 24 vehicle lease from tax levy operating budget, but we included the 60,000 for the old vehicle lease in the capital budget. We just said it's coming from
From the
tax
other
levy,
plan, yeah.
from his budget.
When did you do that? Last year? Because
2 years
we
ago,
were
last year,
funding,
there was no capital.
Yeah.
There was no cap.
no, the year before, we were funding his radios and
Yeah, but
and all that
also,
stuff.
here it is, this is what we did.
Yeah.
Way back when, and because I never throw anything out. I
No,
have
no,
everything right
that's
here.
great.
And-
That's very helpful.
And it at least, the vehicle leases are here, 59,655 operating budget tax levy, but it was in the capital plan.
Mhm.
Okay. Just, the funding source is to raise an appropriate operating budget.
Correct.
And I'm
Yeah.
thinking of keep it in the capital plan, but maybe funding it from another source, like
Yeah,
free
that
cash
way.
or something.
Yeah. But anyway, so looking at highway here, I should say that I have to be out the door at 5:15 today. So I only have about 30 more minutes.
Well, I'm not gonna object. I don't need a third 12-hour day in a row.
I know.
What?
Yeah, me either. And I
Really? I was gonna keep
Oh,
you here
yeah.
for a couple hours.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you bring some beer?
No, but I can go get some if you'd like.
Anyway, so looking at Jimmy's, we have to add 13,188 to it because we slid those over.
Yeah,
Well, for FY '24, but not for '23.
Yeah, for 23, 13,188 that's slid over, so that becomes about 390,000 for the cap loaded.
yeah, because we agreed to pay the payments
I
2
thought-
years ago,
I
right?
thought the
Right.
80,000 that was paid already was for last year and FY '23.
Oh, so it only goes over one? Yes. Okay.
Oh, it did?
Got it.
Oh,
Gotcha,
good.
Gotcha. It
Yeah.
only goes over one,
Yeah.
it doesn't go into FY 23,
Okay, good.
my mistake.
So
That's a good thing.
is the committee at the point of approving or disapproving his request for FY '23?
All of this?
377,000?
I think if we can afford it, that we should, because with the exception of the asphalt cut box, everything has already been requested and was on the existing capital plan,
Mhm.
when capital plans existed in this town. It
And
isn't all that long
The
ago.
replacing of a dump body, this is on the 2012 F-450, he's asking for 14.4.
Okay, hang on with me.
Yep,
That's got a stainless steel body, and he's gotten a couple quotes, and this is the best one. The plan he sent me this afternoon didn't include that, because he said he found some previous projects that had a balance, and he's gonna transfer from those to this, and
Unfinished projects or
yes,
just
but I said, that's a funding source. The question is, do you get the approval to buy the dump body, and then we'll figure the funding source.
The dump body and the asphalt cut box were not on the capital plan.
Right, well, he sent pictures of the current dump body, and
Yeah,
based on those
Pretty
pictures, I'd say
probably needs
he
it,
needs a new one.
yeah.
And he says the truck's in good shape, so I think this is another case of him being as thrifty as possible.
Right.
Instead of getting a whole new vehicle, he's just getting a dump body.
Right,
Yeah,
He also said the dump body should essentially last a long time,
he said 10 years.
and that could be put on a new truck when the truck itself fails. So you'd be buying just the chassis of a new truck,
mhm.
so what is he
Why
going?
does he need
So,
stainless steel?
because it will last 10 years versus,
If they take care of it, it will last,
so
but
what are we going for, the 240 and the 14? And, the
I
replacing.
think if we can afford the 240, we should do it. He had requested this,
Right,
and it was on the plan for FY 21. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
22.
FY 22, which
Yeah.
is what we're currently in.
and did he
didn't
not,
get it.
and he didn't get it.
He didn't get
I
it.
didn't get it.
We have the
And
money for it.
So I think that, that,
I-
I mean, the second one is in question.
Yeah.
In a couple of years, we'll see where we are, but
Right,
if we can swing it, I think we should.
I have no problem with that.
so we're going for the
Just, yeah.
the 240 and the
240.
14.4, right?
Right. Now, what about the asphalt hot box? What do
He
you know
has
about
one
that?
now. I don't know what's
I don't
wrong with
I
it.
don't know anything about it.
He only has 2 people usually run with that. I don't know why.
Why should it be more?
Well,
It's-
no, I mean, it's just, it's a box they pull behind the trail.
It's 12 years old, 65,000 miles, needs tires replaced, it needs wheel bearings need replacing, suspension needs to be replaced, brakes need to be replaced, heat chamber is broken, doors need replacing, heat blower motor works intermittently, and it leaks oil.
Well,
Does he maintain these things or is he just letting them?
no,
are
I
they
think
letting
he,
them run out?
I think he maintains them the best that he can.
He has
I
mean,
instead of
maintenance people
tires.
down there
Right.
that work quite hard to keep
Yeah,
those vehicles
He
going.
does, yeah.
Okay.
Sure, tires and brakes can be replaced,
Yeah, but
Batteries
everything,
can
everything
be
adds up
replaced.
though.
but you start looking at doors,
Yeah,
heater, I mean, you could probably
yeah.
replace pieces. Now,
You're probably
12
gonna
years
pay
old,
more.
you may not get the parts that
That's
you
right.
want.
Hmm.
And we were just talking about potholes. Well, replacing it with hot asphalt is better than cold patch. And by the way, my phone's ringing off the hook with people calling to say their
I
tires
know.
have been destroyed and they want the town to pay for it.
Where does that money come from,
Good
Veronica?
for them.
The
We're looking
policy,
for grants.
Tired.
Yeah.
Well,
What happened to all the
I
great
think we
federal
should
money
take
we were getting
all the
for fixing our
requests.
roads?
I think we should take all of his requests, and if Ross can find a
Money?
source for it.
so
I
it's
mean,
just,
we haven't been funding the pavement management.
no,
plan.
no, we haven't. So are we talking about those 3 things, Veronica, or more?
It's for the 80,000 for the 1-ton dump truck.
Oh, the
plow,
80, okay.
240 for a plow and sander, 6-wheel dump truck. 43 for the asphalt hot box, and 14 for the replaced dump body.
Okay.
So that's
And I
$377,400.
300,
And so, right, so we get Ross to figure out where the money's coming from, and then next week we vote. There you go. Got it.
okay.
You're not really thinking of spending a total of $895,000, are you?
Where do you see that?
that's
just looking
second
at the
bottom,
total.
second page.
Well, I think you could subtract 220K from that because of water, since it's coming out of ARPA.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know yet, so let's just keep going.
This is,
Okay.
All right, so looking at facilities.
Do you
they
want to just
want-
look at Conservation Commission for their whopping
$1,200?
$1,200?
1,000?
I think we're okay.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
They want a
Yeah.
hand auger.
They had that number in their budget. I took it out of their budget and left it here, so it wasn't being counted for
Okay.
twice.
All right.
Yeah,
I think that's, I don't think that's bad.
Okay,
that's not gonna break the bank.
If they're holding a CO, they need to do the monitor. They have to have at least the tablet with the data plan. And the soil sampling and the color book, that's how you determine your wetland.
Right.
So those are those 3 items, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got no
I don't
problem
have a
with
problem
that.
with that either.
all right. I just wanted to check it off how we're going.
Okay.
Facilities, you want to do
Yeah,
that?
let's do
Yeah,
facilities.
that's next on the list.
Okay.
Steer roof repair on Elm Street.
You know,
That bothers me. Oh,
What?
not Elm Street. Where the hell's the Elm Street fire station?
It's
that's it.
it's right over here.
That's right, that's on.
right across the street from the main.
Oh, you're talking about the old fire
The
station?
old center fire station, right.
Ah, why don't we sell that building?
A separate project, Chris, is to, in my mind, is to figure out potential uses for all these old buildings, and then what does it cost to do that?
Hmm.
But in the meantime, you've got to keep them intact.
Otherwise, they're gonna just disintegrate.
Exactly. And there's apparently tiles missing from that roof and whatnot.
I'm sure there are.
And we're going out to bid for money that's already been appropriated to do the roof on the rec center.
Hmm.
The intention is to take some of those tiles and see if they can be used to patch the tiles over the Elm Street, and also to keep
So
them
what are you looking to do with that roof?
You're just gonna put a regular roof on there, right?
asphalt.
Oh,
Asphalt, roof. You're not gonna,
bad idea.
There's
Huh?
no dollars there for
Yeah.
that.
No, I
line
get
item.
that, but
no,
we had talked about that 2 years ago,
that's right.
and we decided that the guy she got a price from would redo that, use all the tiles and replace the broken ones for less than it would cost to do an asphalt
That's what he
roof.
said.
Well,
Yeah.
we can't find that person.
I know.
To do that, give us that quote now. My understanding is anything to do with tiles, the number just goes through the roof. no pun
Well,
intended.
I think that if we do that, I think they should all be saved, because we do have other buildings in town.
Oh, I think they
with
should be
slate
saved.
roofs,
Well, if nothing else, they can be used as art.
Patches for other
Right,
buildings
well,
in town.
Patches or art projects.
I think that was-
In our bid instructions, we're save some tiles,
Okay,
a couple hundred tiles. So I didn't mean to digress from the
Yeah, okay,
facilities.
facilities,
Facilities
yeah.
is looking for a pickup truck.
Okay,
I think it's a good idea, and I'll tell you why. If that was my pickup truck and I was using it every day to haul salt and everything else in it, I wouldn't be happy.
no, I wouldn't be happy. You mean they don't have a truck for facilities?
No, and,
It's a personal vehicle. He's been getting a.
Seriously?
yeah, we're giving them $600 a month, but I wouldn't be happy.
No, I wouldn't either.
And-
Veronica, what are you thinking?
And if you hired a facilities manager who happened to have just a two-door sedan,
What would you do?
you would have to be doing something else.
Right,
I've asked him to keep a log for a month, just how many times he uses it as a pickup truck versus just driving back and forth.
Right.
So that he can sort of substantiate, but I know he's been moving old furniture, I know he's been
I know.
moving pallets of rock salt when he distributes to buildings, he's moved lawnmowers during the fall.
right.
He's got some tools in there that he keeps in there, so that when he goes from one building to the next, he's got
Well,
something to work with.
exactly.
I asked him to look into a used truck. And he said, I said $20,000 used truck, and he
You
says it
never
was,
find it.
You're not gonna find it
You'll
these
never
days.
find
well,
one.
that's exactly what he
Yeah.
told me, or it had 200,000 miles on it,
You'll never find one.
which
Yeah.
isn't really. So is capital in favor of facilities pickup truck?
I am.
I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have questions on the next one, the exterior repair memorial hall, trim paint, front
Yeah.
hall windows.
Yeah,
And with that, I'm gonna do the window replacement at West Townsend Meeting Room, energy efficiency. We have another Green Communities grant round coming up. Is there any way that those can be included in that? Would be I mean, that I think would be part of the audit that they do for us when we're getting ready to do that.
Which
And-
window are you thinking, which building are you thinking for replacement windows from, Veronica?
Well, he says exterior repair memorial hall and rec hall windows. And then further down, he has window replacement at West Townsend Reading Room. So those two window replacements, I would want looked at with green energy. The green communities.
Yeah. absolutely.
As opposed to coming out of capital to see if it's possible to include those. It means you have to wait a little bit longer, but, and quite frankly, the heating system at Memorial Hall, same thing. Even though that's farther down, I know that Memorial Hall heating system is wonky, but,
Oh, is it really?
It's,
so these are things, and that's a next year request. These are things that I would want evaluated for the Green Communities Grant.
Yeah, and that's all funded, right? Money that you're saying,
Well, let me ask you something about the windows.
Veronica?
Because there's, oh, go ahead.
Is that funded money, like a grant or something?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, well, that's good.
But you have to apply for it and
Yeah.
then you have to get it. It's a competitive grant
Yeah,
process.
yeah, that works with.
But we are
everything,
a green community and we did
Yeah.
get, what, 194,000 or something for energy efficiency things in several
Yeah.
buildings, and it's combined with the school. So about half of that is since the town buildings, about half. of that is the school. But that's where I
Yeah.
would put that before I would designate money for it.
Right.
The trim paint, however, exterior repair, which I'm assuming is trim paint, that I would put in here for sure.
So what if we take that 50,000 for exterior repair of Royal Hall and pick a lower number, figuring the windows would come out and go under green energy?
Right,
That is also a type of project that you could do in phases. You
right.
could do a little bit this year, you could do the south side this year and the north side next year type thing.
We're talking about just the green paint, the trim paint, is that what we're talking about?
So that's trim paint.
Yeah, it's just
Yes,
trim
but
paint.
I think some of the trim boards themselves need to be replaced.
I guess I would want to uncouple those and move the rec hall windows to FY 2024. Because I know they're starting a new Green Communities grant
24.
process.
Mm.
So I would take the windows and uncouple it and then put in whatever he needs for the trim and the paint.
Mm.
And then I would do the same thing for the West Townsend Reading Room, move that 20K out a year.
Does he not have any money in his budget for painting windows? I mean,
Yes, he does, but not if
Not
it's sort of
much.
like do the whole building and
Yeah.
find out you've got to recaulk them when you're there, then you've got to
oh,
replace
so
trim
this,
boards. when
he's
you're
looking
there.
to
So
do the
has
whole
he
building, yeah.
evaluated it? I guess I want more details on that. I would not.
Well, I think for the future years, I would just let those sort of slide. For the one this year, I think more detail is appropriate. But this came about sort of when the select board said he needs to have a 5-year plan to maintain
Yes, right.
all these buildings. And at least, what I heard is a direction, at least keep the appearance of them looking decent,
Mhm,
Mhm.
and then keep them from falling apart, so they don't deteriorate.
yeah.
The ones we're using, that's sort of part of normal maintenance, to
Mhm.
keep the ones we're using.
Right.
But he, I think, is making an attempt to look at all these other buildings we've got and say,
Right.
what do you do to
Yeah.
keep them from falling apart?
Yeah, yeah, that West Townsend Reading Room is kind of a nice little, it's really cute.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I would move the windows for both the rec hall windows and the West Townsend Reading Room windows. Keep the heating system in 2024 and look at all of those with Green Communities. See if that can get evaluated and, put on there. There are standards for that, but anyway. So that moves us down to dispose old documents and preserve historic documents in the old libraries, which is desperate.
There's still stuff over there?
Oh,
yeah.
my
It's
God.
gonna-
Really?
yeah.
It is,
Oh,
it is,
No,
if you walk in there, you feel like you gotta take a shower as soon as you get out.
really?
Yeah, it's
And
tough.
it probably has 1,000 of the storage boxes of files. I would
Oh.
not send town employees over there and say, clean up your stuff, because
Is it all moldy and everything?
it's moldy, it's dirty, it's
Yeah.
dusty, it's full.
Wow,
It's
I
been
thought that-
moved here and there.
So,
It's,
Really?
I had talked to a company, and so the 60,000 is my wild ass guess. They're supposed to be giving me a quote on indexing what is there, sorting out the stuff that actually can be disposed of based
Right.
upon state code, and then digitizing
Oh, yeah,
the rest.
right.
My intention was to get that building cleaned out, so then you can decide, what do we want to do with it?
Use it,
Yeah.
Now, that will generate a renovation cost, but
correct.
you've got to start somewhere. So the
Right.
first step is do something
I
with the
did not
documents.
know that was still full of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, it's okay.
I thought when they built the new library,
No,
they
no,
just
no.
transferred it.
I'll
that's
submit
all.
No,
that,
they
Oh,
moved the library
Yeah.
stuff to the new library, and then they took everything from here
Here and dumped it
and
Oh,
over
dumped
there.
really?
it over there.
Yeah.
Wow, we need to digitalize all this.
Now,
Oh, God,
it's-
and I get
Because
that, yeah.
the downstairs here, that's getting pretty full, isn't it? Yeah, it's really, there's all kinds of interesting stuff down there.
Yeah,
and Rob got rid of $500 worth of shredding this week. So
He
he's
did.
getting rid of sort of current stuff in this building.
yeah.
The 60,000 is a guess from my part. It's also a number that it's not time sensitive. I mean, it's been sitting there for
Right.
15 years
Right.
or more. One more year is not going to kill you.
Right.
But
Not gonna help you either.
you folks tell me what you want to do with that building.
Yeah.
It's a shame to look that building just
Oh, my God.
That's a-
crumble around
yeah.
it.
I really think that could be used for something. I don't know what.
It's
something.
gorgeous, it's gorgeous
Yeah, I know
inside.
I've
Yeah.
never even been in it. My whole life, I've been here over 30
Your
years.
whole life?
No, I said, I've been over here for over 30 years and I've never been in it.
Well,
You're kidding.
I've never been in it.
I spent hours in the children's room over there,
Yeah.
hours.
I didn't know there was one.
it has a lot of really great potential, but you
Yeah.
folks need to decide what you want to do with it.
Wow.
And
I think it's,
Well, I think I'm in on the
I am
60K.
too, yeah,
Yeah.
I am.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
The exterior repair of the Harbor Fire Station, I remember there being something about that
A couple of years
a
ago.
couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly.
Now,
Looks tough.
my concern with that is now it's on facilities. It used to be,
It
if I
was,
remember, it was on
becoming
fire department.
There was repair the east wall of the Harbor Station,
Yeah.
10K, and replaced without supply hose, we did that. But the repair the east wall, and I'll bet this is the same thing.
I almost think
fine.
that should be on the fire department. They own the building, right?
Yeah, but I would beg to differ. The
Yeah.
fire department should keep their 3 active stations going,
Yeah,
and that's sort of in their budget. This is a mothball piece of something that they don't really
They're not using.
use. And
Oh,
Oh,
no,
no,
this is
their
the
station.
Harbor, this
This
is
is
the
the Harbor
Harbor
Station.
Station.
okay, it's
oh,
not,
no,
not
no,
the other
no,
one.
not the,
Not the-
not the
not the
old
old.
one.
We're getting
Yeah.
down to the old one, but
Yeah.
we're not there yet. This is
Okay, I'm sorry.
exterior repair Harbor
Yeah,
Fire
that
Station.
should definitely be on the fire department. Take care of their facility.
I don't care who does it, just so
Yeah.
it's done.
Okay, so,
I don't think they're gonna do it though. I'm very truthful.
I think
I really
we have a
don't.
facility.
well, right, and frankly, their focus is not keeping the building going, their focus is putting fires out.
Well, it's gonna be tough on them when they're standing in there and they're freezing their ass up because they let holes get in the building.
Well,
All day.
There's already,
I think we should keep it on the capital plan, the 10K to do the exterior repair. The replacement windows in the next one, move to FY '24 and see if we can get that evaluated for group communities. Okay, here's the next one, the old Harbor Fire Station. That's the
Yes.
one you were thinking
Yeah.
of.
that red and white one?
No, the old one right across from,
Yes, red and
the,
white.
is it red and white?
I think
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
red
I
and
thought it was
white.
just
Yeah.
white.
No, it's red
Jared's
and
right,
white.
it's
Yeah.
red and white,
Yeah.
the one that the
It's right
forest,
across from,
the forest warden is in,
yeah.
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 So the question becomes, I thought that DCR was supposed to be maintaining that building.
Yes, they have done some things down there, like they put in a new furnace blower motor when it died. I was down there looking at it, and that's another building where you feel like you need to take a shower after you come out of. The roof is bad, the siding is bad, you gotta open the doorway, has to be fixed before you can paint it. It needs a coat of paint just so it doesn't look like.
So
No, I
$20,000 is almost a joke.
Yeah, that's not gonna cover
What I
it.
would
Well,
like is.
This would give you a good start.
Yeah,
And I think it's one of these things where you spend up to the 20,000, and you see what you get done, you come back and you'll ask for
for more.
the next piece the next year. So when I met down there with the forest wardens, I said, you guys need to tell us whether you're getting out or not,
Staying, right.
and then we'll figure out what to be done with the building, and then we'll figure out who pays for it. If they're staying, I would suggest that they pay for some of it. And they were actually getting geared up to paint it, and then they found asbestos everywhere. And
Oh, well, gee whiz,
Gee, surprise.
surprise. I mean,
Okay,
you're in a
but-
little- yeah.
whatever their
How
number,
old is that?
whatever number they had in mind to fix it, went through the roof, and they gave up on it. But this will take someone to drive these type of projects and keep somebody at them. When you,
My question is, the 20,000 for facilities, is Rob going down there to work on this, or is he just gonna hire someone? I don't know how that works.
he's gonna mostly hire someone. I mean, he can go down there
He
and
can-
do minor painting and
Right.
fix. the
No,
window.
I'm just curious on how
But when
that
you need
works.
to replace a whole side of a wall.
You can't be down there. He's
Yeah,
gonna-
he's not replacing the windows or or doing the
No.
documents and stuff. He's just,
That's not his,
yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to
I
figure
mean,
out.
he's
Yeah.
supposed to manage these processes.
yeah,
gonna
he's-
have
Oh,
he's
these
the
supposed to
manager,
manage it. Oh,
I
okay.
mean, he
Yep.
does a lot of maintenance.
yes, I know.
Yes, he does. He does a great job.
But not
No, I know.
whole scale things
Yeah.
to this extent.
Okay, so that, then I don't have a problem with a lot of this stuff.
Well, and because I told him this, he needs to provide a maintenance plan for all structures,
Yeah,
not just the ones that we live in,
Right.
work in.
So, he's been given direction and hopefully he's going in that direction. Is that correct?
Yes, I think the first step
Right.
is he gave you an estimate.
Right, so he's going and he's heading in the right way.
It will be up to the next town administrator to sort of
Push
ride
along,
her to keep
right.
these things going.
Right. So we kind of said, okay,
Okay, so we're okay.
We're
on that.
okay.
So you're okay on the
Yeah.
20 grand for that one?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so now we get to the water department. And the TBDs, I'm just ignoring, I'm assuming those are zeros. I'm
what are you
making
annoyed?
TBDs equivalent to zeros.
Okay.
So decommissioning and reforesting the Main Street well field, he says 30K, and he has a double asterisk, which he says is funded from ARPA, no town funds. I don't remember discussing that.
Well, I may have mixed up my asterisks between funding from the enterprise fund and funding from ARPA.
Okay,
So
so
you
those
can-
double,
Those were just not gonna be directly from town funds, I think is
okay,
the way
You
I
think it's
interpret
ARPA?
those.
yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Next two you have is ARPA funded. And we already voted on that, the generators. Using for water mains, and the 36-inch scanner. I think if he needs them, he needs them, but these come out of the water enterprise fund, correct?
Right.
For water.
that 36-inch scanner and copier is something we should have here for building commissioner,
Well, you can't have.
planning board,
Right,
and Board of Health, because we all use big plans,
right.
you
Yeah.
know, and we pay money for them all the time.
You can't be running back and forth with them.
You know?
Computer buildings.
Well,
We have a
why
large-
can't
we
he
have a
come over
large-
here? He's not doing them constantly.
Yeah,
We're gonna
well,
use them more than he would. Just saying.
We have a large printer in the assessors and the treasurer collector. I don't know if it's also a scanner.
But if it copy full-size drawings,
Yes.
and we're all allowed to use it, or is it like we have to
Well-
sign off on it? Just curious, I'm asking.
We have to sign that.
Yeah, okay,
We can make an edict that says everybody can use it or not use it,
Yeah.
whatever
Whatever you decide.
the select board and the
Who
town
pays for the
administrator
ink?
decide they want to do.
That's the deal.
Hmm.
Who's in charge of it?
listen,
Well-
it all comes out of the town budget.
I know, but somebody's gotta be. in
Yes,
charge.
and I think well, treasurer collector or the assessors pay the printing charges. And I guess they don't want to pay printing charges for everybody,
Right,
Right.
but we can work that
figure it out.
Yeah,
stuff if that's the decision. It would be nice to have one upstairs in the land use department.
they're huge on that,
Um,
absolutely. And I would have no problem with, having my administrator go up and use it, or, because we need them also, you know.
Well,
Right.
nobody
Well-
requested a
Yeah.
large.
Well, we haven't
uh,
yet. It's just something, a dream of mine to
Well,
Have
you
one
have
for
to
the town.
ask for it. Dreams are only
Yeah.
dreams unless you write it down.
Exactly, yes,
Once you write it down, it becomes reality.
yes, all right, so
Doesn't mean
next
you
year
get,
I'm
doesn't
gonna
mean you
request.
get it, but you won't get it if you don't ask for it.
That's exactly
And-
right.
Yes.
Well, what is the building inspector? He wants something.
Their regular high volume printer is
Gone.
essentially is dead.
Oh, that thing's, been dead for a
Yeah,
long.
So they put in for a new one.
I think they did, and we've been trying to get MIS and our IT to bless their request, and
Yeah,
Yeah, because something came out of there the other day. It was like, half of it was there and half of it.
yeah, most of the time,
Okay.
that office runs down to the other place.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Okay, so
let's
we're good.
move on here
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
looking
Okay.
at that time. and thinking
Yeah,
I'm
we've got
Okay.
about 5 minutes for it.
Okay, the police department, the records management project, 35K. And he describes that in this.
Oh, that's what this thing was, yeah.
So, and he and I have talked about this in the past, so. And I support that, so,
And the rest of you also,
and pardon,
and,
well, that's next fiscal year.
no, you said you supported the
There's-
records management. I was curious if the other two did. So
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And what was going to have here, Ron, is fine.
Yeah, so basically, fire department doesn't have, I'm sorry,
Um,
police has nothing this year except for the records. I'm
Fire
sorry,
department didn't request anything? The budget's.
Fire
big.
department has it, no,
The budget's big.
I don't know. And they've been needing more
I
equipment
thought
forever.
I saw something maybe yesterday, I'm not sure.
okay, then I will.
Yeah,
Look and see, I think it might have come in.
I know I was bugging them to send something, and they probably did after.
I'm not certain, and I thought I saw a communication center thing as well. But it was a busy day yesterday. I can't be certain. So, but look at that, we're missing 5 here.
yeah.
Yep.
And if I recall, Veronica, and I'm sure you both do too, they wanted a lot of money over the next 5 years from 2 years ago with the pumper trucks and the other stuff that they were looking for.
Well, we didn't do the replace forestry thing.
Right.
We didn't do that.
Yeah,
We did do the ambulance, I believe.
Now, is that ambulance, do we own it or is that a lease?
It was leased to own.
Lease to own,
Yeah.
okay.
Replace engine 3 was on FY '23.
yeah,
So,
yeah, that's a lot of money.
but I do know that they have requested things over time.
Yeah.
So I think it was the squad and forestry one, there was some funky thing.
Yeah, they were gonna try and combine trucks or something for
Yeah.
the forestry
Take
one.
one apart, put it
Yeah.
on the other one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that ever happened.
Anyway, but there's nothing there at this point, so. But they are getting the fire station wall fixed. And
They're
that
getting
was
what?
under
They're getting
fire
what?
before.
What
The
do they
fire
get?
station wall, the exterior
Oh,
wall.
finally, yeah.
And that's under facilities, now,
Yeah.
and have to undo that, so not bad. Are we done?
As far as I know,
I think
that's
we are.
where we're
Okay,
at.
so just for next week, Ross will come back with funding sources, so think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe add in fire, and then we will make our final,
Yeah.
decision
Yeah,
based on that. If you get this book, I think there's something
There is,
that's worth
there
looking
is,
at.
yeah.
Can I have a book?
I will have to go find one. I've made
Yeah.
11 books, and I don't know what happened to some of the extra ones.
Well, the regular, the FinCom, all that is.
Yes,
We all had
and they're all the same books.
Right,
I
yeah.
just stuck.
When you were
The
talking
capital
about a book,
request
I
into
thought
the
you were talking
budgets.
about a completely
If-
different
if
book.
you
I
find
have no
one-
idea.
No,
what
no,
you're
You know,
talking about.
we'll
I do
Should
have
have said
that book,
notebook
yeah.
binder.
I do have that, yeah.
Yeah, we got one meeting left. If I don't get one, we'll just deal with what we have, that's all.
Okay,
Don't go crazy, trying to find one.
all right.
If
Okay,
it
so
was-
same time
If
next.
it was December, I'd say,
Yeah.
yeah,
Same next week, same place.
same time, same back channel.
Yeah, this is the place, so
Good place to
No
be.
worries.
thank you very much.
Yes, thank
Glad
you.
you came.
Oh, do we
And,
have,
do we need to vote to like close the meeting?
Oh, yes, is there a motion to
I'll make a
adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you very much.